Good, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. We're just going to wait a couple more seconds here and then get started.
Ready to go?
Ready to go.
Showtime.
Michael, the floor is yours.
Sure. Great. Thanks, everyone, for joining. We're really excited to have everyone here today. We thought we'd just do a quick introduction so that everyone's aware of who's on the call, at least from the panelist side. And from there, we will move into why we feel that the i3TOUCH panel is best in class in the marketplace and some of the opportunity that we think is available for you, and then how we can help you capitalize on that in the marketplace. So first off, let's introduce everyone. My name is Michael Lee. As you can see here, I'm the Director of Sales for the US and Canada market for i3 Technologies. And I'm responsible for working with our team here in the US and interfacing with our headquarters in Belgium, and making sure that we have the best products in the marketplace for the US market. And so on our team here is John. So John, do you want to introduce yourself as well?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. And thank you, as Mike said, everybody, for taking some time out of your probably crazy busy schedules to spend a little time with us and giving us a chance to introduce you to i3 Technologies. We are new in the United States, probably just a year or so, right before the pandemic is when we started. So it's been a challenge like everybody else has had. But we do have a great story to tell, because we've got a product that's probably one of the fastest growing interactive touch technology panels in the world. We've grown by leaps and bounds in the areas that we've been selling to schools around the world. And we're super excited to show exactly what i3 Technologies can do for you and your customers. A very easy product to sell and a lot of fun and a great product to demonstrate. And I'd like to introduce Alex at this point, all the way from Belgium. Good afternoon, Alex. How are you today?
Good morning, everyone in the US. I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, welcome to Belgium, to the good beers and chocolates. So I'm responsible for the product marketing and the channel marketing part for i3 Technologies. And yeah, I prepared a lot of stuff today where we will jump into.
Great, thanks, Alex. I think Alex is being a bit modest, by the way. He was very responsible for helping us with our product line as well and bringing the EX to market. So no one in the company is more knowledgeable and better placed to sort of give us the rundown of what the EX panel is and why it's been so successful. So on today's call, we're going to talk just briefly a bit about what's happening here in the US, and then get into the meat and bones about what the i3TOUCH line is and why the EX panel is so successful. We'll also touch a bit more about the ecosystem that i3 has built, so that when we talk about the solution, it's not just putting a panel in say, a classroom or meeting room. It's also about the ecosystem and the solution around that, including the software and some accessories. And then we'll have some time for question and answer at the end as well. Throughout the course of the webinar, if you have any questions, there is a Q&A box you can type your questions into, and we'll either try to answer them in the chat box, or we'll pick some of them and answer them at the end. So with that in mind, probably should just dive right in, because I know everyone, like John said, everyone's really busy, and we want to make sure we get through as much of this information as we can. Just so everyone's aware, Alex is demonstrating the EX panel in Belgium right now through its integration with Zoom and also some of the other video conferencing solutions out there. So he has a panel there that he will be using to do the demonstration. So if you have any questions about how he's using it or whatnot, feel free to put that in the chat. I think everyone realizes that the US market is growing rapidly. We didn't actually see a decline in some of the projections during the pandemic. And now, in fact, we saw an increase in some of the forecasts. So, this year, there's going to be nearly 400,000 panels sold into the US market. And by next year, that number is going to rise to 463,000. So it represents a very large opportunity for all of us. We know there are a lot of brands out there in the space. We want to sort of showcase to you why we feel we are best in class and some of the differentiators between us and some of the competition, and also introduce ourselves if we haven't already, and be there as a resource for you when you're having your discussions with your end users, so that we can capitalize on this opportunity. In the recent fund budget that was announced, there is an additional $125 billion going into K-12 education and $40 billion going into higher ed. And a good portion of that is technology in terms of how they want to get the kids back to school faster and safer. And we feel our solutions really fit a good spot in the marketplace for helping educators do that. And we hope you see some of that through the course of these slides. So really just wanted to set the stage. I think we all know that this market is very healthy. We want to be there with you while you grow and support you on that path. And with that in mind, we want to just sort of introduce you or reintroduce you to some of the great features and updates to the panels that we put out, including the new EX, which is our best selling panel so far to date. So with that in mind, maybe we'll move straight into that with Alex.
Thank you very much, Michael. All right. First of all, indeed, we will talk about today about the reason why i3TOUCH EX is so successful. But next to the i3TOUCH EX, that is actually a mid-range product. We also have a lower end product, the i3TOUCH ES, and also a higher end product, the i3TOUCH PX. But we will not talk about those in today's webinar. We will focus on the EX. First of all, the i3TOUCH EX, the most important reason why people like the product so much is the writing experience. Because it has such a natural writing experience. When you start working on it, it feels like you're working on a tablet or you're writing on a paper. So it has the same natural experience. And there are some important reasons why we achieved this level of quality. And perhaps it's a little technical, but important to know. The first reason why we have such a great touch experience is that we have the LCD, so it's a little bit technical. We have the LCD of the display, and then we have the cover glass that is actually sticked to the LCD. So very simple example, if somebody is at the board, at the display, and if he is writing at the same height as his eyes, or at a higher level, it doesn't matter. You will see what's happening at the same spot than you expected. Why I'm telling this? Because there's a lot of products in the market with an air gap. And I will just illustrate it shortly. So I exaggerate a little bit. So this is here a distance between the LCD and the cover glass, the protection glass. If this happens, same person is working at the display, and when you're working at same height as eyes, no problem. You touch here, and the action will happen here. So it's the same direction. But once you are working at a higher point, like here, for example, you're touching here the glass, the action will happen here. So you see that there is a big difference between the action and the point you are touching. So that's already a very important reason why the touch experience is so natural, because the point where you are touching, that's exactly where the action also happens. So we call it the zero air gap. Secondly is the pens. It's difficult to show you in the webinar, of course, but the pen that I'm holding in my hand has a very soft pen tip. And also that because it's soft, it gives you also, again, a natural feeling when you're writing. And also it doesn't make a loud sound. Like, for example, when you would have hard plastics. No, it's a soft pen tip. So that's the second reason, soft pen tip. And then a third reason is the high precision infrared. So here we have the best infrared technology there is at the moment in the market, that is very, very precise and also allows to write with 2 persons at the same time with a different color. So the very high level IR. So the combination of those 3 elements, we achieve actually a very, very good writing and touching experience, because that's the first thing people do. They try the panel, and that's what people remember. But of course, there are a lot of other interesting reasons why the product is so successful. The design, it has a very nice design with aluminum accent at the side. For people who are sensitive for design, the product looks very good. It has a whiteboard application on board. We will stop and show a little more in a few minutes of that. There is a wireless presenting solution on board. Also, this is pre-installed. No need anything else. So that's also included. We will stop also at that software for a second. Then there's also an annotate solution. So if you want to annotate on something else on a browser or whatever, you can annotate on every image. A web browser is also pre-installed when you have to look something up quickly. Easy to do. And then intuitive interface. I think this is also one of the biggest strengths of the product. When you start first time using it, it explains itself. Also that one, you will see it live in a minute. So this is what you see now. This is the home screen of the i3TOUCH EX. So once you boot the product, you boot the display, this is what you see. So you have 3, it's always start with 2 main buttons. This is already a customized 3rd button. But the main button is whiteboard and present. If you want to present wireless, you hit the present button. At the side, you have the menu when you have the shortcuts to the whiteboard, to the present button, to annotate. You have all the inputs. If you click on it, you will see only the active ones. So where something is connected will be visible. And then very important, also the volume control, because we all know that remote control is always lost. So easy remote control. And at the bottom, then we have some other functions like the browser, file explorer, document viewer, and the i3 store. On the home screen, if you want to add a 4th button, it's very easy to do. If you go to the settings, app settings, launcher, and then add custom button. I can choose for web link, application, or source. I will choose here for an application. Then I will choose which application I want to have a shortcut. Let's take, for instance, Zoom. Click on Save, and we go back to the home screen. And we already see that we have a new button on our home screen. So I have a direct link to Zoom, if that's an app that I use often. Very easy and intuitive way to add it to your home screen. If we move on, as explained, the high precision infrared, that's a big differentiator if you want to have a great experience, because if people use a panel and it doesn't work intuitive, they will stop using it. So it's a waste of money. Adaptive intelligence. So in the display, it has a motion sensor. So when people walk into the room, the display can turn on automatically. When there is no movement in the room, the display can shut down also automatically. So we can save a lot of energy cost if this motion sensor is in use. And then, of course, also a light sensor. The brightness will be adapted automatically. When there's a lot of sunlight, brightness will go up. No, not many sunlight, brightness will go down. So this is very good for the eye ergonomics of the people in the room. 4K, of course, standard. We have 4 HDMIs. Interesting solution for very complex integrations. And then this is I think a very interesting feature for education. So the multifunction button. So at the side of the display, there is a very visible button, and the user or the admin can decide what the function of this button will do. So you can, for example, choose to freeze the image. When you push the button, then the image will be frozen, so that if your laptop is connected, you can do something else confidential and it will not be shown. You can take a screenshot, or you can switch to another source. So it's up to the user to decide what happens. So that's why I'm saying in education, where a teacher is using always, it's like his panel in his room, then he can adjust the behavior of the button. And then we move on to the one cable connection, and that's actually what I'm using at this point. That's what we use in our company on daily basis. And this one cable connection is really crucial. It's the USB-C cable is capable, of course, to send image, audio, and touch. That's quite basic. But what is not basic is the power, the 45 watt of power. And there we distinguish with a lot of competitors that we are able to charge the laptop. So when you have several meetings, so you have to teach the whole day, you don't need to bring your charger. You bring your laptop, you connect it by USB-C, and you have all the connections you need via this one cable connection. But again, big differentiator is the power voltage or the watts that we have developed to charge the laptop while presenting. Another massive differentiator is our unique 8 years of warranty. So for education customers, they receive 5 years of warranty standard. If they register their product on our website, they get 3 extra years, so for free. And so that means that you can end up with 8 years of warranty. That's a massive number in technology world. Corporate customers, they will also have 5 years standard, and they can buy another 3 years if they want to upgrade their warranty also to 8 years. But for education, again, it's free. They can update their warranty for free to 8 years. Energy efficiency. So we have it's a European label, A+, but this means a lot. A+ is quite unique in the market. So we invested a lot of development on the electricity usage of the product to save power, to save the environment. We already explained about the excellent touch experience. And if we look at sizes, we have 65, 75, and 86 in the lineup. So that covers almost every classroom can have his correct size. Security, also an important topic for us. If we look today at the interactive flat panel market, about 90% of the displays are using a Chinese chipset. Chinese chipset that is owned by Huawei. It's called HiSilicon, but it's part of Huawei, so owned by the Chinese government. And from day one, we said no, that we don't want that kind of chipset. So we invested more. It's a more expensive chipset, but that we use. It's M-Star, and it has nothing to do. It's also not manufactured in China, so there's no link with the Chinese government. So that was for us a must-have. I already touched a little about the pens. So we have the soft pen tip that gives you a very nice feeling. And also here with the pens, there are 2 pens magnetically stick to the display. It's a little difficult to see it on the camera. But nice thing with the pens is that you have a small front and a larger back pen tip. And the display is capable to distinguish the front or back side of the pen. So you can decide what happens on the front or back side, and that allows you to write with two people at the same time in different colors. We'll see that also in a minute live. There is also a i3 store pre-installed on the display, and this store allows you to install other apps depending on your needs. And here important is that this is a store that we manage, so it's a very secure store. Only apps that are tested and approved by i3 Technologies will be uploaded in the i3 store. So that means that the apps are also compatible with this i3TOUCH EX. So what kind of apps can you find there? For example, Word, PowerPoint, those kind of Zoom that you just saw. So those kind of apps are for free available in this i3 store. And then perhaps my favorite feature, Windows Ink. That's why I'm using what I'm using at this point actually to annotate in this PowerPoint presentation. Very straightforward. You take the pen, and the display will know that I'm using the pen, and it will write automatically. So I don't have to activate any function in PowerPoint. I just take the pen and I can write. And when I use my finger, I can swipe to the next slide. I don't have to manipulate anything, just swipe and it will go to the next slide. If I swipe to the other side, I will go back to the previous slide. And as you see, my notes are still there. So they won't be removed. At the end of the presentation, PowerPoint will ask me if I want to save my notes or not. But again, it's a very intuitive way of working in a PowerPoint, because you don't have, you can stay focused on your crowd, on your presentation, on your lesson, and intuitively we take the pen, we write, finger, we go to the next slide. So it's a very interesting feature. And also here, this is integrated. Nothing needs to be installed or configured. This is standard. Okay, what we saw until now were the basics of the product. For some of you, it looks like already, whoa, that's not, doesn't sound like basic, but for us, it's a must-have, everything what we touched until now. But we are a company that has a big team of developers in-house, because we listen to our customers, and we want to improve all the time our products. So what I will show you now is the recent developments, the new features that have been launched or that have been updated. And all those features that you will see now, they have been updated for free. So customers that already have an i3TOUCH EX, they just have to click on the update button and they receive for free the updates. The first one is the Google Cast function. So our wireless sharing solution already works for MacBooks or for all Apple devices, Android and Windows, including AirPlay. And since this update, we also included Google Cast. So what does this mean? I have a short video here. For example, if you have a Chromebook, you just open your Chromebook, you click on in the browser on the Cast button. You will see the device in your list. Click on Cast, and you can share wirelessly the content from a Chromebook to the i3TOUCH. No installation needed. Just use the default casting function of Google that is available on every Chromebook, on every Android phone, and on every Android tablet. And that's the same also with Apple, because AirPlay is included. So if you have an iPhone or iPad or MacBook, also there you can use AirPlay to transmit your content. The second new feature that was introduced is sharing with 6 devices simultaneously. Previous is what it was 4, so we upgraded to 6. So as you can see in this example, 6 devices, laptop, smartphone, tablet, doesn't matter. 6 devices can share simultaneously, and the teacher is also capable to decide which one he wants to enlarge. So if student X is making a very good exercise, he can click on that image, enlarge it so that everyone can see it. Picture-in-picture. Also, this is a great improvement. So from this update, it's possible to share, for example, an Excel sheet from your laptop. That's what you see in this corner. And at the same time, you can take notes in the whiteboard application. I've made a short movie here, and you can see it live how it works. So this is the wireless presenting software. This is what you see when you activate the sharing button. And when you start sharing from, in this example, it's from a laptop. It's a browser that you see. You can activate the picture-in-picture mode. So now you get actually the laptop image small in the corner, right top corner. I open the whiteboard application. You can manipulate the picture-in-picture, and then you can start making notes next to the shared image coming from the laptop. Straightforward, but can be can have a very important added value on productivity side. We also launched a totally new whiteboard application last week with a lot of new functions. I will show you the new functions in on the display itself. So when you click on the whiteboard application or the whiteboard button, you open the whiteboard application. Also here, not too many buttons that you're going to get distracted. You can, of course, open and save files on the device, or you can save on the USB stick. Later on, it will also be possible in the cloud. That's the next stage. Of course, when you start annotating in the whiteboard, it becomes an object immediately, so you can manipulate it. Then, of course, it's also possible to change colors. Sorry, there's also an infinite canvas. So when your page is finished, no, it's not finished, you can just move everything up or move it to the left side, doesn't matter. We are working in an infinite canvas. So we can also zoom in and out, go back to the beginning, add other notes. So that's very, very intuitive. Just with 2 fingers, zoom in and out, and manipulate your infinite canvas. Of course, it's possible to change the color and the size of the pen tip. Pretty straightforward. Also, the transparency. That's easy peasy. And then, as I explained, it's possible to write with 2 pens at the same time. You can choose the black color and the green color for the other pen, so 2 students can be distinguished. Erase function, you can erase the whole page or just part of it, straightforward. And then also important for education, the backgrounds. So a grid, depending on what you need, you can choose one, apply, and you will get a grid. It's also possible to, of course, to remove it, and also possible to apply it on all the pages that you have made. Undo and redo button, straightforward, but can be crucial in some cases when you miss something. It's at reach. And then the page sorter. So we have 1 page, we can add a 2nd page to our whiteboard presentation or annotation. And of course, it's possible to also to sort, to change the the second page to the first spot. So this is the brand new whiteboarding application where we still, of course, work. We'll add new features in the future, like I mentioned, the cloud savings. And suggestions are always welcome. Then we have also the annotation function. So in the menu, you can activate the annotate button. Same look and feel, but this annotate function allows you to write on everything. So whatever you are doing, you can take annotation, make annotation, and of course it's possible to save them as a screenshot. So I'll take here a screenshot and I will send it to my whiteboard. So now if I close the annotation part, I go back to the whiteboard. You will see that a new page has been added with a print screen, and this becomes an object, so I can manipulate it, move it around where I want, and annotate further, explain further about what we are, the topic we are working on. So important to know also here, people already bought an i3TOUCH EX. They will get all those updates for free, no charge from our side. Okay, I would also like to use a minute of our time because your opinion is very important for us. So you see on your display a questionnaire popping up, and the question is quite easy. What are your top 3 favorite features? So you can click on it and submit very easily. I see that answers already coming in. Very good.
Alex, just while that's coming in, we've been getting lots of great questions, so thank you everyone for those, and I've been trying to answer them where I can. One question I didn't have the answer to was, Karen Moore asks, can you write in 2 colors at the same time on a Mac?
Can you write with 2 colors on a Mac? That depends on the software, but I have not seen yet a software in Mac that is capable to do that. But I can check.
Okay, we'll follow up on that question then, as well. Thanks.
Okay. In the meantime, I think everyone had the time to respond. I see that almost everyone has voted. So you can, Michael will show you the results of the poll. And I see that the wireless presenting with 6 devices simultaneously is the winner. Okay, very interesting. Thanks a lot for your feedback. That's very valuable for us. Good. I would like to spend a few minutes about on the i3 ecosystem because the i3TOUCH, of course, is the center of our ecosystem of the solution, but we have so much more than that. So first of all, the first time you boot the device, you can actually choose between an education or a corporate look and feel. It's called Edu and Biz Studio. So depending on which customer end user it is, you can the look and feel of the interface will be adapted. On board of the display, we have a lot of interesting software, as you saw, the whiteboard application, the wireless presenting application, the annotate, and then the whole system launcher itself. So these are the basics of the solution within our ecosystem. But the whole ecosystem can be even improved or even be customized to the needs of your customer. So if we look at the right-hand side, we have the software part. So there we have i3 RDM, remote device management. We will jump into that topic in a minute. And then we have also i3 Learn Hub, our education software, education hub, where teachers can prepare lessons, where teachers have galleries with a lot of interactive elements that they can build up their lesson, enrich the lessons. So this is a very interesting solution, but it's way too much to explain, to go into detail today. And then of course the link with all cloud services. And then at the left-hand side, also there are crucial elements to enrich the solution depending on the needs of your customer. If your customer wants to add cameras, we can do. We have computers that can be integrated. i3Care, I will dive into that topic also for a few minutes. And a lot of other interesting accessories that can make life of your customer even easier. But again, for us, the center is the i3TOUCH, but we have so much more than only that, because we know some customers have specific needs, others have other needs, and we want to be able to supply or respond on their needs. So the i3Care was one of them that we just touched. So the i3Care is actually an air quality sensor, but an integrated solution. We know there are a lot of products out there in the market about air quality, because today it's a hot topic, air quality. But here the key thing is it's an integrated solution for education and for corporate. So you see here the i3Care underneath the display mounted. It's mounted underneath the display. It's a fixed solution. Nobody can take it off in a school environment, for example, very important. And this i3Care is monitoring all the time the temperature, humidity, CO2 level, particulate matter, and the combination or there's a matrix that combines all the data from those sensors, and it will provide alerts if the air quality is dropping underneath a certain level. And we've all been there in situations where the air quality in a classroom or meeting room is dropping. The person who is presenting is not aware of it because he is so focused on his presentation or his lesson. But the people in the room, the attention rate drops. And in that case, our i3Care will ring a bell and tell the presenter, please stop. You have to act. You have to improve the air quality by putting ventilation on, opening a window or door. So let's show you how this works quickly. So first of all, you see here at the top left side, you see the information from the i3Care. It's a plug-and-play solution, so you just connect it to the display and you will get the data live on your display. Green is, of course, the color that we know that gives us feedback that the air quality is good. When you click on the number, you will get all the details, if you want, about the from i3Care. You have the air quality index. That's a combination of the 4 sensors that I just specified, and you can see in a chart what has been today's history and of the air quality index or of every sensor specifically. You can go into detail and see what the values are at the moment or what the values have been in the past. So I can jump into, I think up to 7 days, I can go back on the display itself to see what happened or what the air quality was and if we had a problem. Then at the top part, you can see even the real numbers of that specific moment. And then we have a bell at the top right corner, and that's the alert. At this point, we have no alerts because the air quality is good. But in case air quality would be bad, alerts will be, or the alerts history will be shown here. If alert should be triggered, it will be shown in the middle of the display, where very large alert that nobody can ignore. It will be seen by everybody in the room to take action, the necessary action to improve the air quality. Then also another very important add-on or software solution that we developed in combination with the i3TOUCH is the remote device management, or shortly i3RDM, that allows you to control all your devices remotely. So it doesn't matter you have 10 devices or you have 100 or 1,000 devices. You can manage all of them remotely from your laptop, if you're admin, of course. So how does it look like? So this is what we see now. This is the admin panel. So this is what I see on my laptop when I log into my i3RDM account. I see my dashboard with some general information. How many devices I have in my environment, how many of them are active. So pretty straightforward. Then I can jump into all my devices in detail. So I will get the list of all my connected devices. It doesn't matter where in the world they are. You can see here we have everywhere devices in our showrooms. If you click on one devices, you will get information of one device. You also see the data, the same data that you saw from the i3 Care. But here we have much more history. We have all-time history. We can go back to see what happened if there are problems in the room. And then my favorite feature is a remote control. So this allows you to see what is happening on a specific display. If a teacher has a problem, he's calling IT, he or she is calling IT, and I can take over the display from distance and change settings or whatever. I can also install apps from the apps repository from here, and I can also send messages to all the display. So very quickly, subject, message, you can send it to one device or a group of devices. So it takes just 2 minutes to send a message out to everyone, to all the displays in your building. And then, of course, you can have as many admins as you want. You can have as many users in your environment as you want. Another interesting solution or enrichment of the solution is a camera. So we have a very basic i3 camera Full HD. It's a basic camera, but it's a very good one. And for a very competitive price. You get a camera with a wide angle, 120 degrees. So everyone who is in the room, just have to drink a little bit. Everyone who is in the room will be visible because of the wide angle of the camera. It will pick up noise or sound from people up to 6 meters. So that's quite impressive for sure if you would see the price. Of course, plug and play. And then we have a higher level product, our Camera Pro. This is a 4K camera, also wide angle. Some exclusive features like face recognition. So if it's a large room, only 2 people in the room, the camera can focus on those faces automatically, low light, capacity, and alert. That's a good example. So it's getting quite hot in this room, and this was not prepared, but there is an i3 Care connected to this display, and I receive here an alert that the air quality is dropping, temperature is raising high. So perfect example. Going back to the camera, this one has a 12 meters omnidirectional microphone. So this can be used actually for quite large rooms. Okay. Time for a second poll. We have a second question prepared here, and it's also, again, quite easy, but important to know what your feedback is. What is your favorite accessory of the i3TOUCH that you have seen in the presentation. So I'll give you a minute to reply. I see that the answers are coming in quickly. Thank you for that. Okay, cool. Yeah. Very interesting to see. Okay, we'll leave it open for a few more seconds. Okay, I think everyone should have been able to respond, and we have a quite significant winner, the remote device or display management. Yeah, I agree. That's for sure in large schools or companies. It's a must-have. It's a must-have. And also there we keep on developing to add more features and to listen to our customers. Okay, thank you. Then we arrived at the last part that I prepared, and that's actually a look into the future, a sneak preview of what is to come. So what we are developing at this point is we are focusing a lot on our user interface. We call it our i3Studio. So it will have some. It will be a more attractive user interface. We will add some widgets. You already see on this image here. We have already 6 buttons on the home screen, and at this point the maximum is 4. But here with this update, there will be even more customization possible with an improved look and feel, more attractive, more sexy. What else? Also, the menu will be more customizable, or possibility to customize more. You can add your favorite apps also in the side menu, that you can switch very quickly from the one app to another. Also for the volume, no need to click twice. You click once on the side menu and you can see what the volume of the device is. Also there, again, a shortcut, an improvement. Also, dual screen will be added into this new user interface, so you can open 2 apps simultaneously, the whiteboard app, for example, and the browser next to each other. Also, this productivity app or productivity feature is very important. Also, the way the firmware works or the firmware update is done will be improved. We received feedback from our customers that the firmware update was a little too, or the update button was too far away, so we will put it much more visible, and also the first time you use a display, it will update automatically before you can go further, so that you have the most up-to-date software before you start or before you install the product in the class or meeting room. And then we will add, so as I mentioned, we have, when you start the first time the product, you can choose for business or corporate education environment, sorry. And there will be also a third possibility, and that's a flip chart environment. A flip chart means that the display will always boot in a whiteboard application. So in cases where whiteboard application is the most important used solution, in that, then those customers can choose for a flip chart. So that means every time you boot it in the morning, the whiteboard will be visible. And then, yeah, we're also working on digital signage. When a display is not in use, the digital signage can take it over. So the admin can decide what information will be on the display at that moment. So, for example, here, tasty hamburger for $2.50 on Friday could be an example, but you can also add movies or presentations via the digital signage solution. This is a third-party solution that we will embed in our product. So when display is not in use during lunchtime, for example, then this information can be shown. So just to say that, yeah, we are a company in development. Our team is working very hard every day to improve and to try to make the best product in the world. So that's what I prepared for today. So it's now time for the Q&A. If there are other questions that have not been responded on the chat, you still can write in the chat. I don't know, Michael, if there are questions that I still need to respond.
Yeah, so if anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. A couple of ones that sort of stood out to me, a question around just the alerts for the when the i3 Care, when you were demonstrating the i3 Care, can they be sent remotely or are they available to people in the room or like a school's office for the entire building? I think you answered that in the next part around our RDM and the connection between the i3 Care and the RDM solution. So we put that in there. As well. But if there are any other questions, feel free to put them into the chat. Someone asked, are the panels compatible with OPS? You did mention that. Yes, they are. And we do, in fact, have our own line of OPS solutions as well.
Yeah.
That integrates seamlessly with our panels.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe we'll give it a couple more seconds here for questions. But it seems like you've done a very good job, Alex, of being thorough in terms of the solution.
Thank you very much.
I had a quick comment just around the first poll question when it came to some of the features of the EX that sort of excited you. And one of the ones that there's two that really excite me, and one of them is the i3 Care solution, which you saw afterwards in terms of just how that can be used, especially with what I mentioned before about the federal government's funding to get schools back and safer and quicker. And then the second one was really around the chipset. So I know that, John, maybe you wanted to speak a couple seconds about what you were hearing around that chipset security and some of the restrictions that are in place.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Alex, yeah, I agree. Great job with the presentation, as always, my friend. You did wonderful. Yeah, the three takeaways that I have, and speaking with resellers around the world and actually end users, the three main features that have made the EX panel so successful, sales over 40% growth over the last 18 months, are number one, the USB-C connection that Alex talked about, where a teacher can plug in their device and have it recharge at the same time. The second one is actually kind of overlooked sometimes, but we have the most energy favorable conservative device on the market. In other words, our panels use 60% less electricity than some of our competitors, which kind of averages out to about $100 per panel per year. Now, we just were involved in an opportunity in Texas where 800 panels were sold. And that particular school district would save $80,000 a year in energy costs by using our product over one of our competitors. That's a big thing for the environment too, as well as maybe taking some of that money and reinvesting into new technology in the school. So that's a very big selling point. And by far the most popular one is the fact that we're the only folks that offer an 8-year warranty. School districts feel very comfortable when the company is confident enough to offer that kind of a guarantee for their product and the workmanship. They may be a little concerned if it's only a 3 or 5 year that the competitors are offering. But Michael touched on a very important part of our messages, and Alex did as well. Years ago, we invested extra money to use a safe and secure chipset in our products from MStar. The high silicon Huawei chipset is now being banned in certain countries around the world. In the US government, you're not allowed to sell a product with that chipset into it based upon the 2019 John McCain Defense Act. So we have a safe and secure product that's compliant with every school or any entity that you're selling to. But we really are very, very happy that you took the time to let us talk about what makes this product so great and why it's selling so well around the world.
Thanks, John. Just one last question. Could you please, Alex, could you please review the input and the outputs on the panel again?
You mean which inputs are available on the panel?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, as I mentioned, when nothing is connected, so I will stop sharing for a second. So in this case here, I hope you can see it. I will just mute you for a second, Mike. Then I will become normally the main screen. So when in this case I have USB-C connected, so my laptop USB-C and there is also an OBS computer inside that's also connected. So you will see two inputs because they're active. But in total, we have 4 HDMIs. So if I connect another laptop via HDMI, then another input will pop up automatically when something is connected. So 4 HDMIs. We also have VGA for older devices still there. And then, of course, the most important one, the USB-C.
Great, thanks, Alex. So I think that's it for questions.
Okay, good. Then, we only have a few more things to say, and that's we have a marketing portal, so where all marketing material is available, images, videos, whatever you need if you want to do a marketing campaign around the i3TOUCH EX. All the elements for your marketing people are there. We can also help you, of course, with all other or a bunch of other marketing materials. So here you have the email address of our marketing. Please send an email if you don't find what you need, or if you don't have already a login for the portal. And then also what's next oh, that's strange. The site, this page is an update. Doesn't matter. But this should be. Oh no, sorry. It's correct. Tomorrow we have another webinar coming up where we will go in all the details about the indoor air quality sensor, i3 Care, and also about the remote management system. If you want to know more about those two specific products that I have touched quickly today, you are welcome to join that webinar. And otherwise, of course, always John and Mike are at your service.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Just quickly to end on that, in relations to anything that we can do to help you with your end users demonstrations, we are here for that, John and I, and as well as questions around the marketing piece as well. If you wanted to get in touch, we do joint marketing and co-branding with our dealers in our network of dealers. So we'd be more than happy to arrange that with you as well. John did put in a link to the webinar for tomorrow, I believe. John, is that correct?
Yeah, it's in the chat box here. If you were interested in learning more about i3 Care, i3RDM, there's a link in the chat box. Michael, great point. We are also recently, now that the world is opening up, thank God, been able to go and actually do on-site presentations with some of our channel partners, school customers. So we're also able to do that as well. We're really happy to be working with you. I'm glad you took the time to learn a little bit more about a company you probably didn't know too much about last week. And I think you'll enjoy working with us. We make a great product.
Yeah. So just wanted to say thank you to everyone for joining as well. Alex, with that, maybe I'll let you say the closing words, and we'll end it there.
Perfect timing. It's 7 p.m. in Belgium, so I will make a little jealous. I will go for a beer. Thanks, everyone, and I hope to see you next.
Thanks, everybody.